Hey everybody, it's McSkippy here from Beers and Beards. I just wanted to make a quick video. We're not going to do a stream. Tomato didn't really get a chance to watch a lot of the major, and he didn't feel comfortable, I guess, talking about it a little bit. So I just want to do a quick recap of what's happened to this point and kind of what my picks are going forward for the CSGO major. So obviously nothing went as planned for anybody at all. I mean, our 3-0 teams are Gambit and Big. Raise your hand if you picked Big to go 3-0 when beating the likes of FaZe and SK and Cloud9. Nobody has their hands up. Seriously, nobody picked Big to do this. There might be some people out there that picked Gambit to run the table. They beat Mouse, G2, and Virtus Pro to get to that point. And it's not like a gauntlet of, crap to go through, basically. But they did beat G2 16-6 in a game they dominated for the very most part. It was one of those games where once they got out going, they did their job. Like, nobody on G2 had anything to do to answer anything. Zeus is really doing a great job over in Gambit. I'm not entirely surprised by their move, but I am surprised they went 3-0. They were expected to beat Mouse. I saw that coming. I didn't really expect them to beat G2. And with Virtus Pro, it was a coin flip of a match, and that's perfectly fine. That's not surprising. Again, the big storyline coming out of Big is the stupid crouch jump situation that happened in Game 1 where they beat FaZe. And then they come out versus Cloud9, and they battle 16-11. It was a decent game. Cloud9 did not have proper form, and I'll kind of touch on that in a minute. Their CT side on Inferno was atrocious. Like, that 100% did them in. They had some better luck going T side, or they just couldn't close it out. And there's a lot of issues going on with the stream. And there's a lot of things that went into that game overall between Cloud and Big 9. Shroud went 4-22, and you can make the argument Shroud's computer obviously was not working correctly. It was not proper graphics controller stuff, and everything was not installed. So there's a lot that happened with that game, but it's still overall, like, doesn't take away from what Big did and what Big was able to do. They played very smart. They played some good stuff out there, and overall they won, and they were deserved to win. You can make all the excuses you want to for Cloud9. You do everything you needed to do, and that was it. It still was not good enough. The other big surprise coming out of it is FaZe going 0-3. They lost 16-8 to Big, looked lost. Lost 15-19 versus Mouse, was not a great game. And then they lost 16-10 against Flipside. And they tried to make a little bit of a comeback, but again, they look lost. FaZe just overall this tournament did not have proper form. They looked awful. For the team that was on HLTV, I think ranked number 2, they didn't do anything they needed to be doing. And they looked really bad. They didn't look like a team that had been playing really well lately, or a team that was even like a thought to potentially take this. And I know myself and Tomato both took FaZe to win, and obviously they didn't even get close. Like, I actually thought Big was going to be one of the 0-3 teams, honestly. Wasn't going to be completely surprised. In fact, I picked Immortals and Big to go 0-3. I picked Immortals out of a little bit of other reasons, but I picked Big to go 0-3. I didn't think they were going to stand a chance. When you pull FaZe for trying, like, oh, they're done. They're over with. It's not going to happen. And then, obviously, my playoff picks, Flipside, did not make it. No, that's not right. No, let me, anyways, I'll get back to that in a second here. I'll pull it up, because there, again, was a lot of things that happened going into this. But, I mean, overall, a lot of things shook up. Most of the teams retained that were legend status. I think 6 of the 8 teams did come back through. I'm going to pull up my picks here because I picked them on the group stage. So I picked FaZe, Virtus Pro, Astralis. All those guys made it. Cloud9 did not make it. We'll talk about that again in a second. G2 did not make it. Little surprise there. Fnatic had made it. Gambit and SK. So I missed 2 picks here. Well, 3 in all reality, because I expected FaZe to go 3-0, and I picked Vega to go 0-3 on the pick'em at least. And that is, that is a good was tough for them. They had not a lot of luck going into this, basically. G2 beats Navi game 1, 16-14. Great game to watch. I mean, it was an awesome game. You thought both teams would kind of recover and go from there. I thought the loser would probably be demoralized. Then they lose the Gambit 16-6. No big deal. They beat Cloud9 19-17 in a game that was kind of sloppy. And then they lose to Astralis and they lose to Fnatic. And Fnatic has been looking pretty decent for the most part in the games that they've won. They look like a team that has potential to do a little bit of damage here. Mouse, it was Mouse. They do what they always do. Flip side, same thing. They beat teams. They beat FaZe and Penta. They do what they do best. They stick around. They're always the second prettiest girl at the dance. Penta, same thing. No one expected them to do anything, and they really didn't. They only beat Vega. Navi, another surprise there. They lost 16-14, and then they beat Flipside 16-9. Like, they're going to right the ship. Then they lose 16-10 and 16-12 to Immortals and Fnatic. And Simple basically confirmed that there's going to be some roster changes coming up. Not a big surprise there. I feel like there's going to be quite a few roster shakeups. Because apparently, from what Shroud said, all the top pro players have agreed to take August off of like everything. So you're going to see some shakeups coming up like within a week of this ending. But the biggest storylines, obviously, FaZe didn't make it. Na'Vi didn't make it. Na'Vi, despite Simple playing great, didn't have anything to offer, and they're pretty bad overall, man. They didn't look good at all. And then the other thing is Cloud9. They come out after having a good ESL 1 Cologne, looking like they had some potential to do something here, and they beat North 16-12. And they start picking the ball up, and they lose 16-11 to Big in that big game that I was just talking about that was kind of all over the place. And they try to come back on G2, and then they beat Mouse, and then they lose to Virtus Pro. I mean, they didn't look like a team that deserved to be here at points. They looked awful. They didn't have any strategy like going into a lot of things. They try to manpower the way through it, and they're not that great of a team to do that still. And I personally feel like Cloud9 needs to make a roster change. I think they're going to make a roster change, and it should be either dropping, unfortunately, nothing or Shroud. And obviously, if you're going to make a pick, I would drop Shroud. And you need to find an IGL. The problem is there's no North American IGLs out there. And who are you going to find to come step in and really right that ship and do what needs to be done? I think Cloud9 needs to kind of reassess their team. I think they need to step back, and they need to know, like, Stewie and Automatic are their players, and they need to support them a little bit better. Skadoodle had some good moments. And again, he's another player I think with the right IGL can do it. But who's going to be that IGL? Sean Gares seems to be doing his thing. I don't think he's going to come back to Cloud9. And outside of that, like a Dren, he's not a good fragger anymore in North America. He's just he's playing for that stream team he does. Excuse me, but he doesn't have the firepower to do anything. I think they need to make a lot of changes. Not a lot of changes. They need to make a change to get an IGL in there to relieve Stewie of that and let Stewie and Automatic just go all out. And then, so let's talk about the teams that are in. We have Gambit, Big, Astralis, North, SK, Fnatic, Virtus Pro, and Immortals. So our first round matchups. We have... Pull it up for us real fast. Excuse me. We have Gambit versus Fnatic. We'll see where this goes. I kind of have this going in the distance all the way. I am going to take Fnatic here. I think Fnatic has just got the experience. I think they've got a little bit of better frag power going on behind them. And I think they can pull this one off. Not to discredit what Gambit's done. I think Gambit is in the right direction as long as they keep Zeus and they keep working on what they're working on and doing what they're doing. They're a team right on the edge that's going to take over the scene very soon. I'd even put them, if they keep everything together and they roll the way they've been rolling, I'd pick them as my early favorite for the next major. Our next game is a devastating game early on, and I might actually help me out here a little bit just with my picks that I kind of made. SK versus Astralis, and the way the Swiss system worked, it pulled these guys together because they were both 3-2 teams. Well, they're 3-1 teams that pull each other in this side of things. And you have SK and you have Astralis, the last two major winners realistically, and one of them is going to get knocked out, and it's going to be a tough thing. I don't know if Astralis has it. Astralis did take Cologne off to work on their game, but SK is SK, and this is going to be a game that's A lot of people are gonna. This is the big game. Like this, some people might consider this the true finals or what should have been the finals here. And we're gonna get it first thing right away. One of these teams is gonna get knocked out in the playoffs immediately, and it's gonna be any man's game from there. Like one of these teams could easily just kind of use everything they've got to beat the other, and not have anything left in the tank to follow that up. I am going to take Astralis here. I think they want to defend, and they've got a lot to prove. SK, obviously, they want to reclaim the title. They want to be back on top. And this is a game of both teams need to just kind of realize, like, no matter the outcome, unless it's just a complete drubbing one way or the other, no team needs to make changes. Neither of these teams need to make a roster change in all reality. Neither of these teams really need to be down on themselves too much. They did everything they could. I mean, SK throughout the thing, they lost a big. Everybody lost a big. Astralis lost to SK early on, and that's nothing to like beat yourself up over. You beat Immortals in overtime, no big deal. You probably underestimated it a little bit. You lose to SK, no big deal. It's SK. You beat Fnatic, and you beat G2. All really good teams, really good hard path to get to where they needed to be. They're here, and I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna let Astralis go up against Fnatic in the next round. And then you have Big versus Immortals, the kind of the game that the lower bracket, I don't think many people are as hyped up about, because you have Big, who played one map through this entire thing. That one map was Inferno, and they beat every team on it, sure, but they kind of had the jump bug. Like, if you needed a heal, like, this is the team. Counter-Strike needed somebody to hate in this thing, and I think Big kind of gave them the love-hate. Like, these guys are doing the right things, but they've got this stupid jump crouch bug going on for them. I am going to take Big here. I think they're going to keep momentum rolling. I don't think Immortals has what it takes to do anything here. It's going to be Big. I think their strats are better. They're not overpowering people. They're outsmarting people. They're doing things right. They're making the right moves. They're making the right decisions. I think Immortals is a team that will get baited into playing a little too aggressive or too passive and having their playstyle dictated by the other team when it should be the other way around. I think Big is capable of bending Immortals' arm to do what they want them to do, and Immortals is going to bend, if not break completely for them. And then you have North versus Virtus Pro, two teams that a lot of people didn't think were going to get this far. Virtus Pro's been looking really bad up into this major, but this is a LAN and it is Virtus Pro. And then you have North, who wasn't looking that hot either. North lost to Cloud9, beat Penta, beat Mouse, beat Virtus Pro to get in. So I mean, like, they didn't have a completely hard path, whereas Virtus Pro beat Vega Squadron. Like, they put the plow down on them. Then they come out and they beat Fnatic, and you're like, man, is Virtus Pro coming here to do what they always do? And then they lose the Gambit, they lose the North, and they pull Cloud9, and they beat Cloud9 to get in on the last game, basically. And you know, they're a little shaky. Both teams are a little shaky. You can go either way with this one. I am going to take Virtus Pro. They have the experience. They have the know-how of what they need to be doing. Again, this is a team that shows up for LANs, and they're a team that knows it's been here, been here, done that kind of mentality, and they're going to do what it takes to carry them on here. And that sets me up for Fnatic versus Astralis, which is going to be another probably great series. I think Astralis, like I kind of mentioned before, is going to be a little down, or a little spent from beating SK and throwing everything but the kitchen sink at them. I think Fnatic's going to be able to benefit from that. And I think Fnatic will take that same thing. They've been in this situation. Most of these guys have. They know what needs to be done. They're going to accomplish what they're going to need to accomplish. Not saying it'll be a pretty game. Not saying it's going to be a great series. But Fnatic is going to do what they need to be doing. And from there, I am going to take Big versus Virtus Pro. I will easily take Virtus Pro in this scenario. And that it's a big game for them, man. I mean, ultimately, they're going to have to do everything they need to do to win here. Big is going to be smart. Big is going to need to do everything they can just to contend here, honestly. And I think that they're very capable of contending. I think they're very smart. I think they're going to do what they need to do to hold on as long as they can, but they're just not going to be able to. That's really about it. I don't know what else I'd like to add to that one. I think that's going to be the case. It's just going to be an old-fashioned Counter-Strike game between Fnatic and Virtus Pro, and I'm going to pull it up here for us real fast just so we have a better idea of what I'm looking at for my teams. Let me switch this on over. So we're going to have Virtus Pro and Fnatic in the finals is my prediction. And this is going to be classic CS at its finest. You're going to have two teams that are hungry, two teams that want to do this. Now this is where it gets interesting. Virtus Pro, I wouldn't be surprised if they win this and they step away from the game. They're done. They're not doing much online anymore. They've kind of I think they're the highest, like by average. I think they're the oldest team in the game at this point. What else are they going to have to prove? They don't want to play online. They want to focus on LANs. They want to kind of focus on their families. They've made their money. They've done everything they can. Then you get Fnatic, who wants to get back on top. They want to reestablish themselves. They want to be the guys again. And I think they're going to be. This is going to be two hungry teams at this point. You get here, any man's game. Anyone can do it. And I'm going to pick Fnatic to win this all over. I think Fnatic will win. It's going to be one of those emotional roller coasters. I would, as much as I like to see Virtus Pro, when I am a Virtus Pro fan, I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're still going to reassess kind of where they're at, and they might even step back or step down completely. And that's really where I'm at with everything. Like I said, it's going to be a short, quick video just to recap everything because I don't have someone to do banter with and go back and forth with. That's my opinions. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm picking Fnatic to win this thing overall. So feel free to leave your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking, and catch you guys later.